This is a movie review, and this is The Indian Runner. It was released in 1991, and it was directed and written by Sean Penn. This was his first directorial movie, and it was inspired by the song Highway Patrol by Bruce Springsteen. The director of photography, particularly important in this movie, was Anthony Raymond, and edited by Jay Cassidy, and music arranged by Jack Nish, produced by Don Phillips. And the cast: in the lead role, Joe, played by David Morse, and his brother Frank, played by Viggo Mortensen. Joe's wife, Maria, played by Valeria Golini, and Viggo's girlfriend, played by Patricia Arquette. Her character was Dorothy. And then we have the brothers' parents. Their father is played by Charles Bronson, and their mother is played by Sandy Dennis. And the last significant character in this movie is Dennis Hopper, who plays Caesar, a bartender. Highway Patrolman, the haunting Bruce Springsteen song that Sean Penn's film The Indian Runner is inspired by, tells of a troubled love between two brothers. Joe, the police officer of the title, struggles to reconcile his civic duty with the responsibility he feels to his kin. Frankie, Joe's violent and unpredictable brother, does nothing to make this easy. As Mr. Springsteen puts it, narratively, desolately, from Joe's standpoint, I got a brother named Frankie, and Frankie ain't no good. The film opens with three images of death through the notion of power. First, a hunter kills a deer and describes his feelings as he watches the last breath of the animal fade away. And then a cop, Joe, kills a criminal he's in pursuit of in his patrol car, who's on the run. The criminal has no skills in using a deadly weapon, and so his efforts to kill Joe fall on nothing. However, Joe, who's been trained, when he picks his rifle up, he hits the man and he's stone dead. And then the third depiction: a Vietnam vet returning from a war zone who has been symbolically killed and carries his PTSD with him and all the anger and violence that he has witnessed in Southeast Asia. Here, the power is more coercive. The US government and its obsession with ridding the world of communism. From there, we follow the lives of Joe and Frankie with their female partners after Frankie returns from Southeast Asia for his R&R. He's in Vietnam. The war is very much on everyone's mind. The focus of the movie then shifts to unravelling Frankie's disturbed behaviour, and for Joe to examine how far his family loyalty should stretch with Frankie, as he continues to be self-centred, irresponsible and unpredictable with both family and within the community. Joe's a police officer, of course. Early on, Frankie chooses to avoid seeing his parents and prefers to hit the bars, get intoxicated and mix with high-spirited women. The parents, particularly his father, played by Charles Bronson, justified this by just saying, "That's Frankie, he's always been like this." Now, Frankie is away almost 6 months, and in that time his mother sadly dies. But when told, after his latest girl Dorothy, played by Patricia Arquette, contacts the family saying Frankie is with her, Joe seeks him out, and after his brief prison stay for assault on Dot, Joe waits for Frankie before knocking on the hotel door and tells him about his mother's death. There's no visible reaction from Frankie, and this again disturbs us as viewers and of course Joe. Frankie is clearly been comatose by death in Vietnam, and he shows no impact outwardly. Joe again makes allowances for this disturbed reaction, although the atmosphere is tense, dark, and one senses that Frankie might explode at any time. Joe's wary look tells all. The acting between Morse and Mortensen is gripping. Mortensen is frightening, and it's reminded me of that Jack Nicholson look in The Shining, those eyes, the psychosis. Arquette, for that matter, is a bubbly young, immature type who is besotted by Frankie's manly strength, but she is seeing the darker side of Frankie's personality as well. He then fireballs a car that he once owned, but is stolen. He doesn't want to sit in the contaminated vehicle, and this is witnessed by Dot. Frankie gets some kicks out of pyromania, and then a chilling phone call by the father advises Joe on some DIY. This then leads to a visit the following morning, very early on, by a colleague saying his father has turned a weapon on himself. This is a dark, sinister tale of irreparable psychological damage amidst this family. But we don't unravel much of early family life, and why are the brothers radically different in temperament and self-discipline? Again, Frankie's response is just not normal to the suicide of his father. Joe, trying to be as calm and unselfish as it goes, is hurting inside as well, as is the whole family. Then Frankie appears to get his act together. Dorothy's pregnant. Frankie gets a construction job, building a bridge, regular money. There seems to be a positive view on the future for them as a pair. Yes, there are still some bizarre moments. He takes a trip out to the forest with Joe, where they recall their childhood experiences, and then Frankie regresses to childlike behaviour, playing with a shotgun and faking his own suicide. This is mimicking his father's death, and it's very alarming to witness for Joe. Penn doesn't relent on the personality disorder. We see Frankie completely losing it over some steak on his dinner table. First the silent treatment, and then spitting out the food to tell Dorothy what he thinks about her, not complimenting him genuinely about his recent efforts to calm down and get on with work, etc. We see more violence at a local bar where Joe is called to intervene. It's extremely nasty, and Joe once again calms things down. In the bar we first get a glimpse of Dennis Hopper. Joe then rescues Frankie from that serious problem, and we get glimpses of Frankie breaking down in tears as he clearly has deeply disturbing thoughts and feelings. The PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, or something more sinister is at work, and we're still trying to fathom what. Penn uses the beautiful song Summertime, sung by Janis Joplin, to maximise the melancholia resulting through Frankie's veins. I thought it was particularly poignant. The pain is now fully immersed, and the birth of the child is imminent, but it's all too much for Frankie as he hides himself in the same bar, treading ever closer into psychosis, and the mere thought of being present at this bloody arrival by the infant is beyond him, and witnessing the pain, yes, that pain, and the adulation that comes with it is quite beyond him. The final violent event takes place in the bar, and he then flees with his brother behind in a car. It's almost a rerun of the opening scene, but this time it takes a different course as Frankie reacts to his brothers stepping out onto the street and decides better of gunning him down and jumps back in the car and flees. This basically encapsulates the whole film and what Sean Penn was trying to get over. The film asks more questions really than supplies answers, but that I feel is deliberate, as Penn that is, he's wanting us to think hard about Vietnam, about combat, about the war experience in the jungle and the lack of proper psychiatric care for those returning home and not being viewed as victors or heroes. Mortensen's performance stands out, and as they say, he used this to launch his acting career via Lord of the Rings, however, but with a host of great real lead roles thereafter. So get to see it. It's called The Engine Runner, and it was released in 1991.